This is Diary of a Working Woman, where I show you behind the scenes of my life as a lawyer, creator, and artist. Because why choose one world when you can exist within them all? In this episode, we are going to explore January 2026. Everybody talks about January as if it's a fresh start, but for me, it was more like picking up exactly where I left off. Same pace, same plate spinning, just a new year attached to it. In my legal life, I was very busy this month. This is application season, where thousands of aspiring barristers are preparing their applications for Pupillage. It's our mandatory training that you have to complete in order to qualify, and competition is fierce. I attended a Pupillage panel at the invitation of the Inner Temple Students Association, and I spoke to aspiring barristers about my route into the profession. I love doing these types of talks because I remember being on the other side of the conversation and yearning for people who looked like me to ask about their experience. Because let's be honest, if you're a Black woman pursuing such an elite, gate-kept profession, all of those connections and all of that context is essential to being able to survive it. I also got to catch up with some lovely ladies and colleagues at the bar, which I really enjoyed and found very wholesome. I also had a trip outside of London for court. I traveled up to Manchester County Court for a hearing. I love going up to Manchester, one, because I just think it's a really amazing city and it's a great vibe, and two, because one of my best friends lives up in Manchester, so I have an excuse to see her. I jumped on the train, locked into my work, headphones in, laptop out, and I was able to get a lot done on the way up. I will say though, I can't stand how terrible the signal is on these trains up to the north. Why do they not want us to be able to connect to the internet? Towards the end of the month, I also went back to my university, the University of Warwick, to attend their law summit. It was a panel event attended by two other barristers where we talked about building a career at the bar and how to well equip yourself and keep going with such a tough journey. It was almost surreal being back on my old campus. I can't believe how much it's changed. I wish I could go back to university and do it all again because it was a really, really amazing time. And if you are still at the university, please do not waste a second of it. I also recorded an episode of my legal podcast, The Ground Floor. Episode 4 was with Mary-Grace Olu, who is also a lawyer and a creator and a good friend of mine. She recently qualified as a solicitor and has gone off to work as an associate at one of the top firms in the world. In this episode, we talked about creator contracts and brand collaborations and some of the legal risks and pitfalls that can happen when brands and creators enter into agreements to create and license content. The Ground Floor podcast is my property law series for junior practitioners and anyone interested in property law, chancery law, that kind of thing. And it felt so good to sit down and talk about the law in a way that's accessible. And I really recommend you watch this episode if you're also a creative. In my creativity bag, I went to the Source Fashion exhibition as well. And that was a research trip for my fashion brand, which I've mentioned I'm working on at the moment. I wanted to have a look at the different types of fabrics, suppliers. I'm not yet at the stage where I've taken flights to go visit manufacturers outside of the country. So it was really good to attend an event where they came to me. I got a really good idea of the different things that are going to be possible for my brand. And I left with a really good idea about what I want to build and the kinds of manufacturers I want to work with. So on the business side, as part of my Blessing at the Bar legal platform for aspiring practicing lawyers, I offer coaching sessions with the application and interview process. These are one-to-ones I do with people who are pursuing the bar. And of course, I do this alongside my normal day job. When you're in the thick of it, in that process of trying to pursue these applications, it's really hard when you don't get direct feedback. And so I try to provide that to people. And I really enjoy the process of doing it. And off-duty diaries. I really want to do more off-duty diaries. So I had a law conference as well. So I went to the Chancery Bar Association law conference. And then after that, I went to my best friend's 30th birthday party. It was so nice. I saw all my favorite people. And of course, my bestie looked absolutely gorgeous. I was there with my husband and my best friends from university. So that was really really nice. We drank, we danced, we celebrated my friend. And I think that was my favorite part. Just all of us sharing our speeches about how amazing she is, because she is genuinely one of the most phenomenal human beings I've ever had the pleasure of knowing in my life. I am in love with her. She is the best. And it was just amazing to get with her and celebrate. And that was my January. So it was busy. It was active. I was moving between multiple worlds, as I always am. Honestly, I really wouldn't have my life any other way. I think that I am getting such a great experience of life right now because I am going full throttle into every area that I'm passionate about. And when we step back after 5 years, we'll see where we are. But anyway, I will see you in the next episode. The new diaries drop every 2 weeks, and subscribe if you want to follow my journey. See you in the next video.